If you've been paying attention to digital marketing lately, you've probably seen a lot of new terms getting thrown around. For years, the big one was SEO or search engine optimization. And most business owners, even though they don't know all the technical details, they have at least some idea of what SEO means. It's the work that helps your website show up on Google when somebody searches for what you offer. But now we're starting to hear more about AEO and GEO. So AEO stands for Answer Engine Optimization. GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization. And if you're a business owner or a marketer or really anyone responsible for bringing in leads, it's fair to ask, are these real things I need to care about, or are they just new buzzwords? And the answer is they do matter, but not because SEO is going away. In fact, SEO is still very important. It's still the foundation. What's changed is the way people search, the way they receive information, and the way they decide which companies, firms, or professionals they're going to trust. So, in this episode, I want to break down the difference between SEO, AEO, and GEO in plain English. And I'm going to use simple visual framework as the reference point here. So, SEO is about getting your website to appear in search results. AEO is about getting your expertise pulled into answers. And GEO is about getting your brand mentioned, cited, or recommended inside AI generated responses. Those are the related ideas, but they're not the same thing. And understanding the difference is becoming more and more important as Google, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Copilot, and all the other AI driven platforms continue changing how people find information. So, I'm going to jump into this video here and show you kind of the similarities and the differences. I hope you enjoy it.
They searched. Did they choose you? At Thrive, we get you found. Stand out and grow. SEO, ads, AI. Be found. Be chosen. Grow smarter.
So AEO stands for Answer Engine Optimization. And this is where search starts shifting from keywords to questions. Instead of someone typing business consultant London, they might ask, what's the best consulting firm in London for a mid-sized company? Instead of searching law firm SEO, they might ask, how do I know if my law firm SEO is actually working? Instead of typing CRM for small business, they might ask, what's the best CRM for a small business that's overwhelmed with leads? That's a different kind of search behavior. When someone asks a question, they're not just looking for a list of pages, they're looking for an answer. And that's where AEO comes in. AEO is the process of structuring your content so that search engines, AI overviews, featured snippets, voice assistants, and other answer-based systems can understand your expertise and pull it into a direct response. In the visual framework, AEO is described as getting your expertise extracted into answer boxes and AI overviews. And I like that explanation because it gets to the heart of the issue. It's not just about whether your page exists, it's about whether your page gives a clear enough answer to be used. This is why content structure matters so much. If your content is vague, buried, overly promotional, or written only around keywords, it may not work well in an answer-based environment. But if your content answers real customer questions clearly and directly, it becomes more useful for both people and search engines. So let's say you run a law firm. A traditional SEO page might focus on a phrase like family immigration attorney. That still matters. You still need that page. You still want to rank for that type of search. But an AEO focused section might answer a question like, how long does the family immigration process take? Or what documents do I need before filing a family-based immigration petition? So those questions are closer to what real people ask before they contact a firm. And this applies to almost any business. A contractor might answer, how do I know if I need to replace my roof or just repair it? Financial advisor might need to answer something like, when should a small business owner start tax planning? So AEO works best when your content is built around those real questions. Now, this doesn't mean your content should be robotic. It doesn't mean every page should feel like a dictionary entry or, a stack of FAQs with no personality. It means the content should be easy to understand and easy to extract. So you want things like clear headings, you want concise answers, you want plain language explanations. You want step-by-step sections where they make sense. You want comparisons, definitions, and FAQs that reflect how your customers actually think and talk. And importantly, the answer shouldn't be hidden 5 paragraphs down. If someone asks a question, give them the answer. then expand on it. Then provide the context, the examples, the warnings, next steps, and the proof. One of the big advantages of AEO is that it can create instant authority. So when your answer appears in a prominent result, the user may immediately associate your business with expertise on that topic. AEO is also strong for voice search and mobile search because people often ask full questions when they're speaking into a device or searching on the go. I mean, think about how you do it yourself. You're, hey Siri or whatever, and you ask a question. You don't just state a few words. But there is a downside. Sometimes the user gets the answer without clicking through to your website. And that's why AEO content can just answer the question and stop there. It also has to create trust. It has to create context. It has to give the person a reason to take the next step. Because if your answer is too shallow, it may help the user without helping your business. But if your answer is useful, credible, and connected to a clear next step, then AEO becomes a powerful part of your lead generation strategy. So to put it simply, SEO helps you rank in search results. AEO helps your expertise become part of the answer. And now we get to the newest and probably the most disruptive part of this conversation, GEO. All right, so again, GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization. And this is the process of increasing the chances that your business, your people, your content, or your brand will be mentioned, cited, or recommended inside AI-generated responses. So this is different from SEO and AEO. With SEO, someone searches and sees a list of results. With AEO, someone asks a question and may get a direct answer. With GEO, someone asks an AI system for guidance, comparison, research, or maybe a recommendation. And the AI generates a response that may include specific companies, experts, brands, or sources. That's a major shift. Imagine someone asks ChatGPT which law firms in Oregon are best for immigration cases. Or they ask Perplexity, what are the top digital marketing agencies for law firms? In those moments, the user may not be looking through 10 search results. They may be reading a summarized answer. And if your business isn't mentioned, you may never enter the conversation. That's what makes GEO so important. In the image that accompanies this video, depending on where you're seeing this, YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever, there should be a link for the image, or maybe it was the cover image. Anyway, in that image, GEO is described as getting cited by name in detailed AI-generated recommendations. And I think that's a strong definition because it focuses on the key difference. GEO isn't just about ranking a page. It's about whether the AI system understands and trusts your business enough to include you in its response. And that requires a different way of thinking about authority. Traditional SEO authority often focuses on backlinks, content quality, relevance, site structure. Those things still matter, but GEO also depends on broader signals that help AI systems understand your business as an entity. And when I say entity, I mean your business, your brand, your people, your services, your locations, expertise, reputation, and the topics you should be associated with. So if your business is mentioned consistently across the web, if your services are clearly defined, if your leadership has published expertise, and if your reviews are strong, and like if you appear in credible sources, if your content's structured and factual, then AI systems have more to work with. So as I just rambled all that off, you can see there's a lot to this, a lot to do. But if your online presence is thin, inconsistent, unclear, the AI may not know when to mention you. It may not know what to associate you with. It may not know whether you're credible enough to even recommend. That's why GEO is bigger than just writing blog posts. It includes thought leadership, third-party citations, industry mentions, interviews, podcasts, videos, reviews, business listings, what else? Structured data, expert profiles, even things like case studies, and then just consistency across all platforms. One of the major advantages of GEO is that there's still an early mover opportunity. So a lot of businesses aren't thinking about it yet. They're still focused only on, traditional rankings, traditional SEO. So the businesses that start building AI visibility now may have an advantage as these systems become more common in the buyer journey. GEO can also position your business as a trusted authority before someone ever lands on your website, but it does have challenges. It's harder to measure. Traditional SEO is familiar metrics like rankings, organic traffic, clicks, conversions. GEO is still developing. We can look at AI citations, brand mentions, referral traffic from the AI platforms, and visibility across generative tools, but the measurement standards are definitely still evolving. GEO also requires a multi-platform presence. So, your website matters absolutely, but it's not enough by itself. Now you need credible signals in the places AI systems are likely to reference. And that's one of the biggest mindset shifts for business owners. You're no longer optimizing only for a website ranking, you're building a digital authority footprint. So let's simplify all this for a sec. Okay, so SEO is about getting found in search results. AEO is about getting your expertise used in answers. GEO is about getting your brand mentioned in AI generated recommendations. Or another way to say it is SEO answers the question, can people find your website? AEO answers the question, can search and AI systems extract a clear answer from your content? GEO answers the question, does AI understand and trust your brand enough to mention, cite, or recommend you? So those three things are connected. They're very connected, really, but they serve different moments in the buyer journey. SEO matters when someone is searching for a service, a location, or a solution. AEO matters when someone is asking a specific question and wants a clear answer. GEO matters when someone is asking the AI system to compare options or summarize the market or help them decide who they should consider. That's why businesses can't afford to think about search in only one dimension anymore. A potential client might first ask Google a question. So they might go to Google, read an AI overview, then they might ask ChatGPT to compare options. Maybe they look at reviews, then they might visit your website. Then maybe they'll watch a video or check your LinkedIn profile before reaching out. By the time that person contacts you, they may have already been influenced by 5 or 6 different digital touch points. So your job is to make sure your business is visible, credible, and consistent across that entire journey. So I'll go back to the idea of, no, SEO is not dead. It's just gotten significantly more complex across multiple platforms. A lot of the same stuff happens, but a whole lot more has to happen with it. All right. So what should businesses actually do with this information? First, do not abandon SEO. That would be a huge mistake. SEO is not dead. It's still very much alive. There's just a lot more to it. Your website still needs to be technically sound. Your service pages still need to be optimized. Your local presence still needs attention. Your content still needs to match search intent. Your reviews, internal links, backlinks, and conversion paths. They all still absolutely matter. All of your analytics, all the things that tie into that. SEO is the base layer, and all of those things still very much matter. Second, start building content around real customer questions. This is key to really both AEO and GEO. But it's where AEO becomes truly practical. So look at the questions people ask on sales calls, consultations, intake forms, customer service emails, review conversations, anywhere that you have engagement with a customer or you're able to kind of see, look at what questions they're asking. Those questions should become content that you write specifically to answer and really to give AEO what it needs. So not generic content, not filler content, helpful, specific content that answers what your customers are already wondering. Now, if people always ask, how much something costs, create content explaining the pricing factors. Maybe if you're not e-commerce or whatever, maybe you don't want to name prices, but you can have content around costs and pricing factors and things of that nature so that you're still answering those types of questions and you're still getting your brand visibility to those questions. If they ask how long something takes, explain the timeline. If they ask whether they need your service, explain the signs, risks, and decision points. Make your answers clear enough that someone can understand them quickly, but detailed enough that they trust your expertise. That'll really help the AEO engines pick up on it as well. And third, build authority beyond just your website. That's where GEO comes in. You want your business to be recognized as a credible entity. That means your brand should show up consistently across the web. Your team should have clear bios. Your services should be described consistently. Your reviews should support your positioning. Your content should demonstrate expertise. Your business should be mentioned in relevant places outside just your website. This is also why and where things like podcasts, YouTube videos, interviews, guest articles, industry publications, and case studies become really valuable. And I'm saying all this as I'm doing a podcast and really working ourselves to build up some of these same things, YouTube videos and so forth, for these very same reasons. They're not just marketing assets, they're authority signals. The more clearly the web understands who you are and what you should be known for, the easier it becomes for AI systems to understand that too. So let's make this practical. I'm going to use a law firm example. So for my law firm clients, my legal colleagues, this will resonate very well with you. So imagine you own a law firm and you handle immigration cases. So an SEO strategy would make sure you have strong pages for your core services like family immigration, asylum, citizenship, deportation defense, work permits, whatever your immigration cases are that you cover. Those pages would be optimized around the right keywords and locations so people can find you in search results, right? They type something in, something they're looking for, you show up in a Google search result. And specifically, those service pages would show up. An AEO strategy would be, to make sure those pages answer real questions. So, how long does the can't talk. How long does the citizenship process take? What should I do if I receive a notice to appear? Can I apply for a work permit while my case is pending? And by the way, this can be service pages. These can be blog posts as well. But there are great places where you can answer these questions that your clients are very often asking in search. So those answers would be clearly structured so they have a better chance of appearing in an answer, like an answer box or an AI overview or voice style search results. Now, a GEO strategy would go even further. It would focus on whether the firm is known and trusted across the web for immigration law. So that might include things like attorney bios, case studies, client reviews, a list, legal directories, interviews, community involvement, articles, videos, and mentions from credible sources. So there's a lot of places that kind of come out away from your website. Obviously, bios, case studies, some of that kind of stuff could be on your website, but a lot of other stuff is going to be elsewhere. A lot of these are going to be off of your website. Now, all three strategies, they all support each other, right? So SEO helps the firm get found on search. AEO helps the firm answer questions. GEO helps the firm become recognized as a trusted authority. And that same framework applies whether you're a law firm, medical practice, or what have you. It's across the board. But you can kind of see, from a law firm standpoint, when you're needing to gain and show expertise, you need to gain trust. You want to show up in all these different channels: SEO, AEO, GEO, which means you've got to show up well with your website, in directories, on podcasts, kind of all over the place. You need to cover the web, and that will help you get across all of these. All right, so we'll wrap things up here. So the big takeaway is search is really just no longer about ranking on Google, but SEO is not dead. I really want to get that point across because I keep seeing that now with AI out. Everybody's out there saying, oh, SEO is now dead. No, not at all. Ranking still matters. In fact, it matters a lot, but it's only one part of the modern visibility picture. So today, people are getting information from traditional search results, from answer boxes, AI overviews, and voice searches, chat-based tools, and generative AI platforms. So that means you as a business, you have to think about SEO, AEO, and GEO together as being kind of symbiotic. You've got to cross-channel. You've got to handle them all. So as a recap, SEO helps your website appear when people search. AEO helps your expertise appear when people ask questions. GEO helps your brand appear when AI systems generate recommendations. If you want to stay visible as search changes, you need all three working together. You need a website that can rank. You need content that can answer. You need a brand that AI systems can understand and trust. Businesses that adapt now are going to have a much better chance of being found, cited, and recommended and chosen in the next phase of digital search. And that's really the point. This isn't about chasing, acronyms. It's about understanding how your future customers are making decisions and making sure your business shows up in the places that influence those decisions. Thanks for watching.